super kicks.
Bow, 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 bow.
Tullo, I think it goes more like this. It goes, bow, 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 bow.
I hit the wrong. Bow, wow, 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 wow.
It goes, meow, 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 meow. Anyway, it's hard to sing that. All right, what are we talking about? Oh, so here's the flip side of that match. Lime, duh. Yeah. Let's do it again, baby. Hello. Whoa. Woo.
Sammy Guevara. I have been here for 12 years.
I'm going to tear the living shit out of you.
Who gives a shit?
Welcome to the Comedians of Wrestling podcast, the podcast where comedians dissect the wrestling to an unhealthy degree. I am your host, the host with the most viral stand-up about professional wrestling, Dan Black, a.k.a. Adonsky Blackamora, a.k.a. Donnie Mahalo, the future King of Iron Fist tournament winner and the future and returning Cow podcast champion, a.k.a. Donnie Capri from that time I went to Italy.
Holy motherfucking shit.
No more Mr. Nice Chew.
A.k.a. the modern day goof and spoof Haraja.
Someone you idolize.
Coming at you like Cleopatra, baby, gabba, gabba, wee. Yeah, gabba, gabba, wee. Gabba, gabba, wee. Gabba, 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 wee. Sasha Banks on your one-on-one drive time radio Waikiki. Here we go. This girl, she's mine. And hop, hop, hum.
I'm not a perfect person.
Damn, she's fine. What up, Jabroniacs? We are back in action for your satisfaction with all of our spicy, muy caliente wrestling reactions. And as this drops, I'm sure all the true Jabroniacs, members of the Facebook group, members of the Cow Discord, members of the Cow followers of Cow Podcast on Instagram and Twitter, all of our socials everywhere knows that I have entered myself into the King of Iron Fist tournament. I have skirted off to Waikiki, Hawaii, secretly, and I am now recording the podcast from there. I'm recording this podcast right now from the LaCroix Hotel in downtown Waikiki, and yeah, let me tell you. I just want to let you know, I guess I apologize in a way for being discreet about this. I'll introduce them, but we have Newman and Tullo here on the podcast today, and Phil, the producer, always in the back, baby. And listen, I kept this close to the chest, and I had to do what I was going to do. And listen, it was tough for me because for new listeners who don't know what's going on, Jason Shabiro, back in December 18th, 2020, came to my house. First went to Tullo's house, stole the money in the bank briefcase, which has a legal contract in it. It's a possession contract that if you have the contract, you get an immediate title shot at any time, any place. Stole that, flew over here on his way to Hawaii. He was post-breakup, and I was going to meet up with the guy even during the pandemic. Turns out I actually had COVID when this beatdown occurred. On his layover, stopped here. We were supposed to get some socially distanced in and out. He came over, beat me over the head with the Cow Money in the bank briefcase, pinned me, took the title, and went off to Hawaii. Now, look, most of you already know that stuff, but people ask me what's going on, and I want to let you know. I've been taking kind of a beating on this podcast for people saying my lack of inaction. You know, people saying that my lack of action, my inaction. Thank you, Newman, for the face. That did help. I'll be honest.
You're welcome.
That's not gonna be my first flub of this pod. I've been getting my ass kicked out here in fucking Hawaii. And, yeah, all year people being like, yo, it's a responsible error. The title just sat. And, I had to stick to my guns. I don't know what that's like for you guys. If you're in any kind of position of, let's quote unquote power, let's say, and everyone's got an opinion and you have to stick to what you think is right, but you're going to always question it, And it didn't feel right to me to go out and wrestle with a title when there's a pandemic going on, especially early on. But at some point, you have to step up to the plate. And what Shebs did, I looked into it, and I safely got over to Hawaii here. Had to get the special test. Had to get license to come over. It's the whole thing. But now I'm here, and yeah, I'm entered into all the haters out there. Anyone who said, oh, Dan Black, the boring champion, or Dan Black, oh, the title just sat there. Any of you guys, just to prove it to you guys, I have now entered into the King of Iron Fist tournament. Okay? Now, technically, Sheb's, and who could take this guy at his word because the guy's a fucking slime. You know what I mean? Technically, I could have got a title shot however I wanted. No. My point is to everyone out there, I will earn. Everything I get, I earn. Okay? Sheb says he's the hardest worker on the Zoom. That's what he calls himself. That's all he is. Hiding behind a Zoom, hiding behind a camera, right? I'm the hardest worker in the fight, And maybe that's not as flashy or sexy as a catchphrase. That's all that but all that matters is that I'm there. Hands up, getting my ass kicked. I mean, so I'm in this King of Iron Fist tournament. For people who don't know, the winner of the tournament gets a title shot WrestleMania weekend, which I believe I'm trying to hammer out the details with Glenn Stefani, the commissioner, the Hawaiian State Commissioner. Figure out when this is, but I believe it'll be April 10th. So, well, I'll get more details on that by next week, but I believe I went through a bunch of rounds as Donnie Mahalo. I entered this tournament wearing this mask. You could see one of my fights where I had to expose myself to Jason Shapiro, show who I was, because I busted out the stunner, which people would say is a mistake. But I was up against Sal Eliazo, who was on a fucking tear, and I didn't want to waste. It was just time. You feel it. I felt it was time. I needed to. I'm beat up. I'm bruised. My ribs are killing me. As a matter of fact, guys, you want to see some of this stuff going on with me right now?
Sure. Oh,
Yikes.
that's gnarly. What's that from? That kendo stick again? That's worse. That looks like someone fucking cracked you.
Did you get hit with a coconut?
They hit
Yeah.
my car?
What?
How did that happen?
Dude, this was a kick.
Damn.
I don't even know these guys' names. Sometimes they don't even names. I just get a text 1 hour before a fight. I get a pin drop location on where these fights are being held. And you show up. There's no pleasantries.
Fucking
You know what I
Fast and
mean?
the Furious
This
5?
guy had to look like he had like a 1 foot torso and 6 feet legs. You know what I mean? And this guy's just swinging at me like Stretch Armstrong. I think I have about 3 more rounds. Okay? To get to the finals. I think 2 more rounds to get to the finals. But then after that, I gotta face Shebs, and let me tell you, this guy is hooked up on this island. I mean, he wasn't messing around. Everybody knows the guy.
Yeah.
And I don't have any friends out here, man. And this is the toughest thing I've ever done. I could just sat back and commented about how cool all the booking is for wrestling and stuff, but it's just not, like with the title out there and what Sheb's is doing, it was weighing on all of us, man. You saw it. The morale of the community was low.
Low.
You know what I mean? And it's important for me to do this. So anyway, look, I know we got a lot of wrestling to talk about here today. I know that because we are in the we're very deeply in the road to WrestleMania. This is our post Fastlane. We got a lot of wrestling to talk about. But I'll just say this: if you want to support my endeavors here to Hawaii, I mean, doing this stuff is not cheap to come out here to enter the tournament. I had to bribe a couple people. Frankly, you don't even want to know what goes into all this stuff. If you want, like, a lot of interactions I got to make out here. Some people, you see Hawaii, everyone's like, oh, it's a resort town. You know what I mean? Like, it's beautiful, sunshine, gorgeous, hiking, this and that. Hawaii's always going to be, you know, a place that leaves a bad taste in my mouth. I mean, the taste of, you know, metal, the taste of blood, you know? So, you know, everyone associates places by their experiences. And my experience here has been pretty rough, man. So if you want to support us, you go to patreon.com/comedians wrestling. Support the endeavors here of that I'm going through, and I appreciate that. But yeah, thank you for all your support, everybody. I'm asking for you guys. You see videos of what I'm going through. The way to support me: repost, share, send to a friend. Everything you do, retweet, get the word out there. You know, we need to expose Shebs for the fucking piece of shit that he is, and get the word out about what's going on here on Cow, so that we can. So that when people accost with the title and whatnot, it's not even a question. We'll have private testing services, private flights, you know what I mean? Whatever we need to do to protect the Cow title, you know? Anyway, last thing, if you sign up for patreon.com/comedians wrestling, if you sign up, the new Cow stickers, which everyone has received, the Sting stickers, but by the way, by the artist who made that, she also made the Cow title art from the hoodies, is Angela Zhang. She's incredible. She's an artist who helped me out, but does not. This is a working, incredible artist. Does not need to be doing stuff for us, but does it. So give her a follow on Instagram. Check out her shit. She's incredible. But those stickers are limited time, by the way. I have a very limited amount of them. They're big, expensive stickers, frankly.
They're sick.
So sign up at any level. Patreon.com/comedians wrestling. Any level, you get the sticker while the supplies last. Do it now. If you love what you're listening to this podcast every week, you dig what we're doing, frankly, you should be a patron. Patreon.com. Because you also get access to our Discord, which is a good time. You get a lot of benefits. And many would argue too much benefits. All right, anyway. Let's talk about wrestling. I mean, so this has been my only escape from this tournament. Like, I come home bruised and battered to the LaCroix Hotel, cozy up with
Is that a real thing?
LaCroix.
Like, do they...
The LaCroix Hotel?
Yeah.
Google it, bro.
Is it? That's where you're staying? That's amazing.
I'm staying at the LaCroix Hotel. Yeah.
Do they have LaCroix there?
Yeah.
What?
The LaCroix company owns it. Yeah. I was in touch with them. And frankly, it's my safe haven. It's the only place I feel safe. You know what I mean?
It's like like an embassy.
We see what happens to you when you drink a lime LaCroix in the heat of battle.
I don't have the bell. We got to do the virtual bell here on the soundboard, but we'll like to get into the wrestling. But I'm pretty fucking excited to talk about the stuff that I was watching. All right. So anyway, by the way, I did introduce them, but Nasty Newman in the house.
How about it?
And the supermarket, the architect, Mr. Nick Tullo. What is up?
Yo, 5:24 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's your boy.
Okay.
Tullo.
Yeah. All right. So I don't know exactly where to begin, but I'm going to start somewhere that's not the Bray costume. We're going to start the Bray costume second.
Okay.
What I want to talk about is the thing, and I try to do this on the pod, is like, what's the thing sticking in my head? You know what I mean? It might not be the top booked thing, but this is pretty high up. It is the main event. But I want to talk about Fastlane for a second, and the main event of Fastlane. I'm curious where you guys are at on this. Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns was the main event of Fastlane, right?
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Bryan has this unbelievable ability to have great wrestling matches. It's kind of as simple as that. You know what I mean? Because that match started, and I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, what is this match? I really don't care about this match at all. It's clearly a placeholder match. And that's why they got Edge out here as the special enforcer, which, by the way, is hilarious. An enforcer when the crowd is virtual is even funnier.
Yeah.
It's like if you're standing there, you're kind of like, yo, there's like 20,000 people here, so like It doesn't help to have an extra hand around, you know.
He's like reaching over, turning off screens, like, all right, you're
he's like this guy.
Get him out of here. Click.
He's ejecting people virtually. He's got a keyboard, you know. But Edge was just walking around like an idiot for like 25 minutes of this match.
Yeah.
But anyway, I love it.
On the verge of a roid rage fit.
Yeah.
I know, he's so roided out.
Yeah.
He's so roided. His like cheekbones are about to like pop through his cheek like demon horns. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It looks like somebody stretched skin over a Predator helmet.
Yeah. And by the way, he looks awesome is what I mean to say.
Yeah.
It is hilarious while I was watching. I was thinking about how like I used to think Edge was so little. I was like, this guy's so small to be the champion. Now he's huge. Compared to the main roster, now Edge is like a giant.
Yeah.
You know? Okay, but my point, this is not even the point. The point is that I was like, it's a holdover match. But Daniel Bryan, like, I watch this match, I'm like, this guy really is so talented at wrestling. Like, halfway through the match, I was like, captivated. I was like, this guy just goes. Like, I don't know what it is, because he doesn't have like one move I love. I hated his gear. Like his gear, like I hate, you guys know I hate Seahawks Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
Like without the foofy boots, without the goat, the looking like a goat, you know, without the hair and the facial hair. But he really just is. He just gets it in a way where I'm like, man, I'm vested in this match. Right? Did you guys feel that?
Yeah, I think he has got gears. Like he shifts into gears. You know, he's got a
that is
unique
true.
way
He
of
does.
building a match nicely. And then when you think he doesn't have another gear, he finds it. You know, and
Right.
and I think also is these guys coming back from these injuries, man. Every move could be their last. So when I'm watching this guy wrestle, I'm always like, it's like crazy to think, but like, man, ooh, that was a big bump. Like he probably shouldn't be taking this bump if he's, you know, and it's he's just mesmerizing. in
I
a
always
way
forget
to
about
them.
that. I've totally forgotten about Daniel Bryan's neck situation. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. The only reason I noticed is that he used to do like really stupid flips to the outside. He used to do like a lot of really ugly jumps to the outside that you're like, oh, this guy's nuts.
I would almost go as far to say is that Roman really and him have insane chemistry, man. And Roman wrestling right now is wild because he's bumping and selling as a heel now. So now we're seeing all these new dude, he took like something from Bryan and he like, it was a drop kick and he popped up and he was like grabbing his jaw. And I'm like,
Yeah.
man, these guys are telling a fucking story and it's art, you know?
Well, that's what it is. Like you mentioned the building of the match and how he finds these gears. Like I know that he's sort of, I've heard from a few different people that Daniel Bryan, and I said this in the Calzoom Thunderdome, but Daniel Bryan is the one.
Which was a lot of fun, by the way. Shout out to everybody who showed up.
Yo, by the way, I didn't mention that, but sorry I missed the Calzoom Thunderdome. I was in the I was recovering from I was getting beat down pretty. That was one of my tougher. Anyway,
it's fine. We know we know it's fine. But like he booked, like, for instance, that match against Brock Lesnar a couple years ago. That was like an amazing match. Bryan was the one.
Oh, it's a Survivor Series match.
Yeah. Bryan was the one who plotted that whole thing out, and Lesnar just did what he was the one in charge. He produced that match basically, and I have to assume he did the same thing here. But that's what he has such a good skill set around the storytelling of this and the theater of, like, we're going to tell a story through this fight. That he can put on a program with anybody.
Yeah. So I totally agree. So here's the so we all agree that match was dope, right?
Yeah.
It was a great main event. Like, it was a great time. It was a little unclear when Edge came in and started doing the pin. They're like, oh, just so you know, the special enforcer can also do pins, right? You're like, oh, okay, all right, oh, yeah, okay.
It's
all
like
right.
kids playing when they're like, I can fly. Oh, also I can time travel, and
Like-
also I can.
Like, at least just take the shirt off the ref. Like, at least, you know?
Yeah, that's what I was
Right,
saying.
right,
Like,
right.
just put it on. Yeah.
Anyway, but
By the
Okay.
way, great ref bump, too.
yeah, I agree.
also-
And he rolled. He did so much rolling, that ref.
Oh, yo, we ate that thing, man.
So in the WWE, the referee official duties transfer in the same way as the Santa Claus does, where, like, if you get Santa Claus's suit and put it on, you're Santa Claus.
Yeah,
exactly.
If you get the ref's shirt and put it on, they've now the duties have now transferred to
the
you.
ref, the job of ref in wrestling is probably one of the most unique job descriptions. You know, imagine reading a listing of what it is. It's like, you're the referee for a match. Now, that also entails you might get hit. You know, you might get hit. You also have to, like, the boss is going to be in your ear telling the guys what moves. Like, it's such a, I was like, it's such a specific job.
Well, really, I mean, in reality, in non-kayfabe, it's
Yeah.
they're a assistant director.
You're like a stage
stage
director,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like what's it called? Like the guy who's in backstage in Broadway or whatever. This is like the stage guy.
Stagehand.
It's like I want to say stagehand, but
No,
like
that's who builds the sets and shit.
I'm talking about
Yeah.
the one who has a podium in the back. You know, there's like sometimes a guy with a podium in the back. It's like, yeah, it's the backstage manager or something like that.
Right.
You know? Anyway, like they have an earpiece to the actual director. Anyway, okay. If we had Skylar here, that would have been very helpful. But okay, so who, by the way, Skylar Aston gave me a bump on the bump.
Saw
You
that.
guys see
did.
that?
Sure did.
Absolutely. I had a lot of pride in that. I was like, felt really good to facilitate a super kick for someone.
You should start your own edible arrangements.
Absolutely. I'm
Type
kind of like a male madam of super kicks. or
Mail
whatever.
order super kicks.
I'm like a
For your next super kick party, order super kicks from Dan Black Super Kicks Emporium.
Well, yo, what's I'm like a pimp. I'm like a super kick pimp.
You're a super kick pimp.
Yo, you trying to get kicked?
You're smacking people's feet around.
You're the godfather of super kicks.
Yeah, fuck, I'm the Heidi Fleiss of super kicks.
Heidi Fleiss.
Anyway, so Tullo, I think it goes more like this. It goes boom, 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 boom.
I hit the wrong. Bow. Wow. 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 Wow.
It goes wow, 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 pew, pew. Anyway, it's hard to sing that. All right, what are we talking about? Oh, so here's the flip side of that match. It was a good time, good match. Nothing to say. Daniel Bryan impressed me, and he constantly does that. It's like it's kind of amazing that he does that because he stinks right now. Like he's so vanilla right now. I think, but he's also in that confusing zone of like his shirts still have eco-friendly stuff on it. He's still doing the yes stuff. It's kind of like undefined in a way. It's not bad. It's just not my style. Like I like a clearer character, but then the other side of it. Okay, so let's talk about the fallout of this match. He tapped out Roman Reigns. Now, I know he didn't get the pin or whatever. He tapped out Roman Reigns.
The win.
I think it was earned, though.
It was earned, but that means I don't care if Roman Reigns taps because I'd be
That's
a
pretty
hypocrite
fucking
because I
sick.
said it's a big problem that there's no one who can on Roman Reigns' level. So they need to start getting guys up to Roman Reigns' level, or else because what happens here? He wrestles Edge, beats Edge, then there's no competition for Roman Reigns. So elevating Daniel Bryan in the process, I see why they're doing it. It's smart. But ultimately, do I want a triple threat match between those guys? The answer to me is a definitive no. I mean, Edge Roman is such a better match for Mania. Like shoehorning Daniel Bryan, like Edge won the Royal Rumble, you know? He won the Royal Rumble. He came back. That's the story. You have the spear versus spear. To shoehorn Daniel Bryan in there, to me, it's just and as someone who appreciates what Edge has done here, I don't like it. And it doesn't mean it's necessarily going to happen, so that I don't mind building up Daniel Bryan going forward. And maybe you give Daniel Bryan Jey Uso at Mania in some kind of
It
Hell in a
also
Cell
adds
or
the
something,
layer.
you know? That's
Yeah.
what I would put. I would put Daniel Bryan and Jey Uso in a Hell in a Cell at Mania. That's what I would do.
I mean, how good is Jey Uso? He also got to wrestle fucking Edge on Friday, which was a very good match, too.
It was great.
Main
I
event
also
Jey
just
Uso.
love that you're going to see spears. It's just fun. Like Edge and Roman, one's going to spear the other one night. It's fun. All right, what were you going to say, Newman? You were going to say something? I think I interrupted you.
No.
About so the question to you guys is,
I was going to say,
does this triple threat interest you?
Yeah, actually. Just
Right.
because I'm not a huge... I mean, here's the thing. I'm not a huge Edge mark. I'm not a huge Daniel Bryan mark. Roman Reigns is one of my guys.
You think you know me?
It's not...
Watch out. Look behind you, bro. Look behind you, bro. Oh, never mind. It's your cat. All right, sorry about that. I thought he was going to spear you, but he was just...
We've been playing a lot of fucking scary games. You can't be
He's
doing that to us, all right?
Yeah.
He's huffing catnip. All right, go.
But the combination of the three is enough for me to be interested. Like, cumulatively speaking, my interest is peaked.
I think let's go back to your point, Dan, right? It's about you loved how Daniel Bryan can perform, right? And I think it gets us to get more out of that match with both of them doing less, So, like, you're going to get edge spots, less, they'll be able to fill in spots and make the match more interesting without having to overwork Edge for a 20-minute Mania match. Now they can go a full 20, 25, all three of them, We probably would have only got like a 15-minute match, which probably would deliver. But now you can really let this go as your main event. They can work more spots.
Yeah.
You can also get Roman to lose without eating a pin or tapping out.
I actually think that's why they're doing it, to be honest. I think they're going to have Edge win by pinning
Beat
Daniel Bryan. And then you go for Edge Roman at SummerSlam. They just want to milk it more and give Edge a title run. Which I wouldn't hate. I just want Edge to be the champion. I just think, like, why not? I think it'll be a fun time.
Yeah.
And,
is there anybody else on the roster? Like,
there's a couple wrestlers. They have like a couple wrestlers.
yeah, but I mean, like,
Do you mean that what? That could wrestle Roman?
that would be like, because I'm thinking like, okay, you had to bring Edge back from the dead. You have Daniel Bryan, who's arguably already had a couple of moments, right,
Yeah.
of being built up. Like, is there anybody else that pops into your head as far as like who could be against Roman?
What are you saying? Roman? You mean post-Mania Roman?
Yeah,
That's who you mean?
yeah.
Well, Seth. We haven't really seen the Seth feud yet.
True.
Like that's the big feud.
Man, Seth Roman.
We'll see
Fucking
where that
SummerSlam.
is. I mean, Seth's in this his drip mode right now.
It's amazing.
It's pretty fun.
You know what we discovered? He has a stylist. Like,
So
I
you
didn't
found that
realize-
out from a friend or something? Or?
No, we were when he Susables, Susan Lloyd. Like,
Yeah.
we were watching whatever, I guess Fastlane or Raw, and then we like discovered it. He has a stylist, and it was started as Becky's stylist, and then he just started using. His name is King Troy.
What does a stylist do?
They buy your clothes.
Pick out your outfits.
Stylists are- I
make
gotta
sure
say-
that you're in the right fits and stuff. Make
I
sure
would love
like,
to have a stylist at some point in my life. Like,
People can't figure this out on their own.
no.
No.
What a stylist does is, and I see from JB having a stylist is like they'll come over and they'll just come over with a rack of shit. You try it on, you're like, yo, this looks dope. This looks dope. That's cool. And they're like, all right, you like that? All right, I get your vibe. I got your vibe. All right, I'll come back with some more stuff. And then you're like, oh shit, I look awesome because I
Get
would
it
never have
tailored.
thought to rock this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You get it tailored to fit you perfectly. Like, if you look at Seth, he's in a really good fitting suits now. Even though
Well, you see Seth, his clothing's on another level than like
Yeah.
a Kenny and the other guys because there's only so much you can do on your own. And not only that, another thing about stylists is that they have access to clothes that you don't have access to also because they have like deals with
Like secret back room. Like, what is
Nope.
this?
Because if you're a stylist, so the whole thing is like stylists build up clout. Oh, listen, I live in fucking LA. You know the deal. Like stylists build up clout with like designers and shit, and then they give them stuff, and so you kind of like it's just not like store stuff. You know what I mean?
Right? Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
I didn't.
I
know
mean,
this
it is
stuff
store
either, bro.
stuff. We've like literally every time Seth comes out in his suit, we look it up and we find it like live on.
No, it's not
on
store
stream.
stuff. It's not store stuff.
It
It's
is.
not-
Dude. It's
Do you have to go to school to be a stylist?
There's difference between.
Yeah.
There's a
Oh, yeah.
difference. There's a difference. Sorry, guys. I got kicked in the throat.
I got kicked in the throat.
No, there's a difference between stylist and wardrobe, right? So like wardrobe, a lot of wardrobe shit, and like for stuff that's like cheaper level, lower level, wardrobe is all like Zara's, H&M, right? Like all those stores that's like cheap but looks great on camera, you know? Like all that clothes looks amazing, but literally the second you're done shooting, you're like, all right, cool, and then
Yeah.
break. You know what I mean?
But yeah, stylist is gonna is gonna give you a wardrobe that's custom fitted to you and your style. Like, and it's gonna be all your dimensions and all your measurements and everything like that are gonna be factored into that. You get them, and then like, oh, this is what we're going for. Okay, and then we're gonna do that and put you on. Like, obviously, Seth has a stylist. Like, he can't do that. Like, he's having them pick him out. But. But yeah.
I just don't know.
I mean, look at his suit. It was in a cow. It was like a cow print camo.
I understand the concept. I understand intellectually the what a stylist does. I just am shocked that people can't figure that out on their own. Actually, I'm not shocked. I'm dismayed.
they're
that
wrestlers.
people can't.
Did you see the Pinnacle? Did you see what the Pinnacle looked like? I mean, they were all not a single guy was in a good fitting suit. If they would have had a stylist, they would have had them all pick out suits, get it properly tailored.
Ill-fitting wrestling suits. Ill-fitting suits is part of wrestling. Okay,
bro, those guys were like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna go shirts, no ties. You guys got suits? Yeah, we got suits." And they just went into their closet and pulled
Men's
something.
Warehouse.
Yo, when was the last time those guys wore suits?
That's a crazy
WWE
shit about,
Hall
like,
of Fame.
That like the crazy shit is like when you wear something that fits right. It's like as notoriously, I'm the man who's wearing stuff that doesn't fit right.
Yeah.
So let's just keep that as mine. I'm not coming from a place. I'm not coming from the high ground or anything. But I yeah, like you do see Seth and you're like, this guy is on another level. And Miz is a guy who's on another level wardrobe wise. These are guys now who are not dressing themselves. And to be honest, you can do it yourself, obviously, but it takes it's full time to, like, if you're gonna have a fresh, awesome look every week. You know,
That's
Exactly.
okay. Yes, that the frequency of it, I think, would necessitate a professional.
yeah,
Yes.
like Newman, if you had to like dress yourself for like your wedding or something, you had like 6 months to plan, then you don't need a stylist. You like go around shopping and find
Right.
the dopest thing and put it all together. You know?
So this is rich people stuff.
Yes.
Okay.
But also it's Hollywood stuff. Like if you are like they'll send like it'll be in the budget of stuff. So that's what I'm saying. So like my friends who are like just comedians, right? Like will be in something and they send them a stylist and they're like, oh shit, I look awesome.
You ever watch
it's
Queer
easy
Eye?
to-
You ever watch Queer Eye? Tan. I mean,
Right,
if you
it's
haven't
tan,
watched it,
exactly.
it's tan. I mean,
We
so
spent a
that's it.
lot of time
Tan is
describing.
always, but it's like to me that job.
Stylist, tell we're
Yeah,
three dudes.
stylist dead end. We just do it. Stylist dead end. Phil said it.
20 minutes on the concept of a stylist. What a pod.
All we gotta do is say tan.
Yeah.
Actually, we could talk about, like, I actually thought that match, would you guys say that was a 4-star match there? Daniel Bryan versus Rose?
storytelling from start to finish was just top notch.
Did you guys see Meltzer gave Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa 4.75 stars?
Is that what he really gave it, or are you just kidding?
No, he really did. He couldn't give it 5.
He couldn't give them 5 for that?
No, yeah, it's the
couldn't
second
give them
highest
5
women's.
stars?
Yeah. Becky and Charlotte.
He'll
It's
give
the
it-
only
gives
other
Kenny
match that he rated that.
like 7 stars for
Yeah.
the matches.
Yeah,
like,
he's a jabroni.
Well, because it has women in it, so he can't do
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
imagine. God
can you
forbid.
imagine ranking matches with stars? What a life. I mean, whatever. I don't know. That's diminishing what he does. I'm sure what he does is cool. It's just so not my deal.
It's impossible to diminish any further what he does.
Phil's deeming this the stylist dead end.
Yeah, that's what I said.
I think that's true.
What Dave Meltzer does
trying to
in
tell
his
you that Phil said.
contribution is subatomic. Is how you cannot diminish it any further.
Yeah.
Okay.
Meaningless.
Well, I
Meaningless.
think that I'm gonna add that into the stylist dead end. All right.
Meaningless.
So listen, folks. So yeah, is that I'm not. Anyway, we got a lot to talk about. I'll move on from this. If it is a triple threat, I know the match is gonna be sick.
Yeah.
You know, like Daniel Bryan, Edge, Roman, great. I'm a little. We're the Edge, Roman story has been slowed by this Fastlane pay-per-view, so they might have no other choice but to work the Daniel Bryan to get, because if you think about, I think it's just 100% happening, because Reigns beat the shit out of both of them. Edge beat the shit out of both of them. Why would he do that, right? You know?
Yeah, just like logistically, like it doesn't make any sense.
It's McMahon's razor, right?
You know, he lost the match. Daniel Bryan lost the match. I know he made him tap, but he didn't win the match, so he has no real reason other than grudge to be added into this
Right.
triple threat.
Now, can we talk about the sloppiness of this? I mean, we do it every year, so it's almost like
booking?
whatever. It's what we expect. But forget about the actual booking, because some of the card is not terrible.
No, it's
you
not.
know, the card I could get behind. Let's just talk about the storytelling and the laziness of telling these stories. Like,
Yeah.
and to be honest, saying that they're lazily told stories implies that they are stories. They're not stories.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
like, just like, here's this match is happening. Like, you had the Bad Bunny and Rhea Ripley segments, right? Which were this week, essentially the same segment,
Yep.
where it's like, I show up and then I challenge you and you accept, right?
It was this end also Peyton Roy. It's all you have to do is ask for a match, and that's what you get. Like that's what Raw told this week.
right? Because
if you ask,
instead of right,
you'll get.
yeah, instead of just having it be like something happens and Adam Pearce has to deem it, and fine, sometimes you ask for it, it happens, and you say it was commissioned. but it's like it feels so lazy, right?
Yeah, it's like crazy, man. It's
And like
really
they're putting
weird.
together an event. It's gonna have like 100,000 people at it. Like,
And not
what?
just that,
Yeah.
and not just that, they did the previous week was AJ and Omos coming out and saying we want a match at WrestleMania, and they're like, okay, we accept. So they've done it multiple times, and also the Drew match was kind of just booked out of nowhere. They just said, oh yeah, Drew versus Bobby at Mania. Like
Exactly.
the whole Raw card is just thrown together, and
this
we're
is
just
where
gonna do it.
AEW is smoking them. Is
Yeah.
like with just like vesting in their characters
Well-
and their story. But that being said, this is just how they kind of do Mania now. I think it's just I just kind of accept it. You know?
Well, I would say if you look at the SmackDown side, though, there's way more. Like, I mean, they have both Rumble winners on SmackDown, right?
Right.
You have Apollo and Big E's been telling a story. The tag team title scene is actually pretty good. The women's match is Bianca and Sasha. That's been going on because of everything. So it's like you have one brand that's, oh, okay, this makes sense. All this is lining up the right way. But then you have Raw, and you're like, I mean, what's going on? It's very interesting.
It is true. You've been making this point for a while. It is true. Like the Raw. The Raw versus SmackDown in terms of how they're being handled is just it's significantly sloppier.
It's crazy.
Now that being said, let's take a step back. These matches aren't bad. That's the thing.
I know.
Like Asuka Rhea Ripley is a cool that's
Fuck
a cool
yeah.
match. My beef with this is I think Rhea Ripley's fully in her zone now. I mean, if you think about when I was criticizing Rhea Ripley till now, the amount of fine tuning she's done to even just her look alone, where now they call her the Nightmare, and then you see her and you're like, she looks like a nightmare. You know what I mean? Like with the eyebrow and just the hair like gelled all the way down. It reminds me of like when Punk kind of like figured his look out, you know? You know? And so I think Rhea in her zone and like go in there and Rhea should just beat Asuka.
Yeah,
100%.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. And it sucks because Asuka really hasn't had a feud or a match that has
but
mattered
Asuka's
since.
had a whole career.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying it sucks just because I wish they would have taken the time to build up Asuka as this Empress of Tomorrow. You're not ready for Asuka versus the Nightmare Rhea Ripley. We're only going to get that over the next 2 weeks when it should have been building this whole entire time. Asuka
I
should have
agree,
been
but
winning,
Asuka has
winning.
been booked pretty strong. She overall.
hasn't, though.
She's been booked pretty strong, but it's been
but, like,
sloppy.
of recent times, like, I mean, man, come on. I mean,
They sort of take it for granted that she's Asuka.
they, yeah, I guess.
Yo, you know what I'm starting to not dig? Small thing.
Yes.
Starting to really bother me when I can see your sneakers when you're wrestling. Like Asuka straight up rocks like sneakers.
Nikes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not just her. Daniel Bryan also like his kick pad.
Oh,
was
like the
designed
kick
as,
pad and the
Adidas.
sneakers.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you can still wear those. It probably is not that hard to black that stuff out, right? I guess no one cares except me about this shit.
Well, I think it also depends on, I guess, like what
just
you
like-
want, like in your style and stuff too, you know?
Sure, but you look a million times better when you wear. Like if you think
A
about,
boot.
look at Randy, right?
Yeah.
Why do I always go to Randy? When you look at Randy, you're like, he wears snake skin boots,
Well,
like wrestling boots that are out of like a viper
it's the
that he
kick
fucking
pads.
killed. You
you
know,
don't like it because it's the kick pads. Like the kick
Yeah,
pads
are whack.
the kick pads connect to the sneakers, and it doesn't make any sense. You know,
I'm not a kick pad guy anymore. I the kick pads rub me the wrong way. That being said, I do think kick pads are definitely a look that looks good on some people. I'm
Finn
just
Balor.
saying, what?
Finn Balor.
Finn Balor looks like a fucking $1 million. That guy's so hot. I mean,
I like that butt.
yo, Finn Balor. Oops. Finn Balor.
Oops.
I said this on the last pod, I think. I was talking to Tullo. I was kind of delirious at a fight that day. But so, like, in my I said his eye zone
Yeah.
is starting to look like that cracked out, low body fat, no sleep, like
Yeah.
comic book. You know, when it's like they do a one
Yeah.
panel that's like, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah. Very Frank Miller. Yeah.
Yeah, Frank Miller shit, and his
I
eyes are
think
dark.
I actually think he also has some kind of like lazy eye thing going because at the end of that match, he like you could tell like I don't know if he's has an injury, maybe a broken orbital. I don't remember, but like you could tell like one eye was like I have it actually. It's a like a lazy eye, I guess. And he was like, I'm like, wow, this guy is really like even worse than.
I mean, he also looks like he's high as fuck.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
I mean, his eyes are always red, like on the verge of tears.
Can he
'cause
just
his eyes
come?
are so
Can he
dry.
just pull up on a motorcycle? Like, I mean, that's all he needs, right?
Right.
Imagine if he just flipped up the fucking thing, took the helmet off, like.
I mean, most wrestlers would improve by no less than 80% if they pulled up on a motorcycle smoking a cig.
all
and then-
blacked out ninja.
Yo, guys, did
yeah.
we just take a hot guy detour?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Took a little
We're
hot
trying
guy
to make.
detour.
We're trying to
Do we have
rebrand
a
Finn
sound
Balor
effect for
here.
the hot guy detour?
Yeah,
Probably not.
it's the Austin Powers. It's the Austin Powers theme song.
I'm gonna find something. The hot guy detour. But
Should be if you
this
think
is
I'm
a hot guy
sexy, but
detour
Rod
right
Stewart.
here. Yeah, the hot guy detour. Just literally you
Dan.
mentioned Finn Balor, and I had to just talk about how hot he is.
I mean, if you're gonna play that music, you want to talk about how fucking hot and bothered you got by Drew McIntyre
Okay.
being in face paint.
So it's in my notes, obviously. Yeah. All right. Well, and we'll get to the Bray costume soon, but yeah. Well. So a lot of these matches are booked. We're just to finish up the Ripley Asuka thing.
Yeah,
Ripley's as cooked as she's gonna be. Just put the rocket on her, right? Like
Yeah,
that's
let's
what
go.
Foley was saying. Like I think everyone agrees. And then yeah, figure out what to do with Asuka. They always do. Tullo, what I was saying to you is that Asuka's booked pretty strong in the scope of the women's division. But
Right.
yes, she does have this constant like start and stop. Like coming into last Mania, I think we didn't even know if she was gonna have a fight or something. Wasn't she the champion coming in? And then it was like, is she gonna have a match?
yeah. It was Becky?
No. Coming into last Mania, Becky, Asuka. I think Asuka lost the title like last second to Charlotte. Maybe I don't know.
No, she didn't have it because she won Money in the Bank, and then became the Raw champ.
I don't remember what I'm talking about, but there's a couple of moments where Asuka's like, you're like, there's this thing where she's the champion, but they're not putting any focus on her. It's happened a couple times. Anyway, but yeah, so that real Ripley match would be good. Charlotte diagnosed with COVID-19, by the way. People
By
are saying-
Rhea Ripley too. What a fucking line to have to drop in your opening promo to announce that Charlotte has COVID. Did you even realize that? Like that was
Wait,
in
Ripley
Rhea's
said it?
Yeah, she's out with. First of all, kudos to her because you could tell she forgot her lines. You know, she was trying to find it,
Rhea?
and she slow built up, and then she's like, Charlotte's not here, cause she has COVID. I was like,
It's not her
whoa.
fault. Triple H doesn't get these guys ready for what main roster entails, so it's not her fault.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I knew, I saw what was going. I felt so bad for her, and then they made her announce that Charlotte has COVID. Well, come on, like of all things to fucking give on your opening promo on Raw, like God, dude.
I know. Well, we're in the zone now. With
Something.
COVID.
I mean, and this is
Yeah.
a shitty way to look at it, but like, not only is it like nerve wracking to have to announce that, but also then.
I mean, I announced it on the pod, by the way. I read my results live on the podcast. Just to let you know.
but doesn't that then psychologically garner sympathy for her opponent from the people she's appealing to with her promo?
Yeah, I guess.
Misstep, right?
Yeah.
Misstep.
Yeah, I think the weird thing about COVID, if you want to just get into it, is that COVID means different things to different people.
Right.
Some people see COVID as like a potential lethal virus, which is what it is. And then some people look at the stats of like, your odds are you're going to be fine. And frankly, they're both right. It just depends on which way you approach it. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean,
if what?
if you want to, if you want to say that it is a disease that is 10 times deadlier than the flu, is that your odds are good, then yeah. But
Right. And then you could also approach it as the flu's not that deadly for people in her age range. I'm just saying, you could see it however you want to see it. And I think that's what's going on, is that the sensitivity levels are all over the place on COVID, is what I'm saying.
Right.
Well, the crazy
Which
thing
stemmed
about
a lot
that.
from Trump, if you want to get into it. But like, you know what I mean? Like or forget about blaming it on Trump. It's just the switch in administration. You know what I mean? Like, it's, yeah.
Right.
Anyway, so I
crazy
do
thing
think
about
it's
it-
weird when it comes to writing. Like when I have friends who are like, they message me like, can I tweet this? You know what I mean? Because people don't really know where the lines are for that stuff. Yeah.
Well, also because she got caught in the whole Andrade thing too. So people are like, oh, we're hearing Charlotte's off the card. And people are starting to say, well, it's probably had something to do with Andrade. So all these rumors swirling. And then it's like, oh, no, she's off because she has COVID. It's like, all right. So, like, it's like crazy. Like,
well, that you had to be such a mark to think that Charlotte was going to stand up to WWE. Do you guys know how this thing works? I mean, how much more do we have to see? Like, Charlotte didn't say shit to Vince about Andrade. Trust me. I mean, I would bet any
she
amount
might
of
have
money.
helped him. She might have helped him get out because they waived his no compete clause. So
Yes, maybe that. Maybe that. But she never was like, I'm threatening my career at all. There's no chance. And that's just not how that company works. Now, also, Andrade, immediate AEW buy or no?
I think he's going NJPW.
Yeah, back to Japan.
Yeah.
New Japan's a very sexy place to go, I think, for wrestlers right now.
I mean, I would
think-
love to see him in AEW because you got Zelina too, so you could fucking.
Is Zelina in AEW yet?
Well, no, she's a free agent though. They're both ready to go now.
I mean, I would obviously love to see him in AEW over NJPW because AEW is easier to watch.
Yes.
Yeah.
For selfish reasons
But
that I would want to.
I did also hear in the dirts, but a long time ago, that he wanted to go back to Japan.
And they're also already teasing that like Osprey and Cobb have a stable, and they're teasing somebody like another foreign like person to come in, and they're talking about it possibly being him,
Oh, that would be so cool.
right?
Yeah. What's going on with New Japan's relationship with AEW? Is it not much, right? It's just kind of
No,
like
yeah, it's
one and guns.
I think it's that Forbidden Door's open, so I think they're waiting to do this stuff with Impact.
They're waiting
to
for it
move
to be
on to the
live.
New Japan storytelling
Yeah.
because they got Rebellion coming up. Kenny was just on Impact this week again and
Right.
fucking killed it. Like, so once that goes, they sent the Impact titles over to with Finjuice
Yeah, I
over
saw
to
that.
Japan. So I think it's all just gonna once
That I
this
saw.
Rebellion, once Kenny fucking kills Rich Swann and takes the titles, it's get ready because it's gonna
Yeah,
be
it's
fucking
gonna be fun.
wild.
Okay, so yeah, let's talk about Drew face paint. I mean, I don't have much to say other than just like this guy is a main event dude. He has a look that belongs walking down a ramp of a Mania main
He's
event.
got it all, right?
He's really does have it all.
His finisher sick.
The only thing he hasn't had is this crowd to help him. You know,
Yeah.
his whole title run has had no crowd.
Well,
you know,
I mean, he's
he
probably going to
beat
beat
Brock
Bobby.
Lesnar. You know, it's a huge deal.
You know, honestly, that's probably why they made him drop the title so he can win it back at Mania and give
He's
him
definitely
the pop.
getting the. He's definitely beating.
He's going to get the
Lashley.
entrance, right? He's going to get the win probably. I mean,
Yeah.
it's so wild that the paintbrush that he was using to paint his face was like an actual paintbrush.
I know that was
mean,
so
like,
funny. But that just shows you what
just
like
down the beard onto the neck too, no regard for anything, just coloring outside the lines.
This is a $1 billion publicly traded company. Goldust painted his face for 40
Well, I mean,
years.
it's different, you know. Like that's something he like they talk about. Like every day he showed up, every day he put on his face paint. It's just his
know.
thing, you know.
Yo, so it is interesting because I was like, I think I could have been really sold on a Sheamus Drew McIntyre Mania match. Like
tell you what.
this Fastlane match, the story building up to it was really fucking good.
Yeah, they could have just built that to the title, like
Yeah.
to Mania. It would have been great, you know.
Yeah. Anyway, but you know, it's an awkward WrestleMania. It is awkward.
Yeah.
It is sloppy.
This
awkward.
happens every year, though.
Yeah.
This happens every year. Think about it.
Isn't this one
It's
more awkward?
They
though?
go
You don't
into
think
this
so?
last pay-per-view, and we're like, I remember last year. It was just like, I'm like, what the fuck? They got nothing booked. Fastlane's in the way. Fastlane happens. Then Monday comes out. Bad Bunny versus Miz. Drew versus Lashley. The tag team match. The fun, like, there's humor going. Like, they're just built bang, 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 bang. And they're just like, here you go, your Mania cards. And you're like, oh, shit, this is going to be a fun Mania. Okay, I'm kind of looking forward to this. I'm in for the Bad Bunny. Like, you know, it happens every year. We do it every single year. We throw up our arms, and then we just go into Mania. We're like, all right, you know, it is. I'm kind of excited about it.
I think this is the worst one, though. I agree it happens every year. I 100%
Right.
agree. I think that just in terms of build, and to be fair, they're doing 2 nights for the first time.
No,
which
it happened
is
last
interesting.
year.
What?
2 nights live, but they did 2 nights last year.
I forgot that last year. Dude, that was such a fucking blur.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I was like, actually, I said that out loud, and I was like previously, and I was like, wait, did they do 2 nights, or was that just a thing? But then you remember they did.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you are right. But whatever. This time they're doing it
In a live crowd 2 nights.
This time they're doing it again.
Live crowd.
Yeah. So yeah. But it's just this one's a little jank. That's all I'm saying. Now that being said, I do think the card is fun and good. I'm kind of like okay not going though. That's kind of the weird thing. Is that like
completely cool not going?
Right? Like I'm cool not going. Like because it's just
there is that FOMO. You know, we've been to it. We've been planning it. Like I'm like, oh, I really want to get there. Like and go. And then I see a lot of cool stuff that's happening. But also Florida, like. Like it looks like it's like
Florida.
Miami's like the world seems like it's burning down over there, like in the streets at night, like with partying and stuff and people going crazy.
Because
so
it's spring break, right?
Now you combine that with a whole bunch of crazy wrestling fans in Tampa. I think it's gonna just I'm cool, man. I'll go to Dallas next year.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to Dallas.
Or wait for SummerSlam.
Let's finally get to this Bray costume. And Newman, I'm going to let you lead because this feels like the most Newman-y thing to ever happen in wrestling. But so, Bray Wyatt made his triumphant return, his vengeful return to at Fastlane, and he had a new costume, a charred new costume. Newman, what did you think of the match, and what did you think of the Bray costume, and what do you think of the storytelling of the Bray Randy thing? You know,
okay, I mean the match, loved it. We need more spooky things, fireballs, weird viscous liquid. Like I said a couple years ago, I was like, the Bray Wyatt needs to be like, the lights need to be going out, and his opponent needs to suddenly be like in the corner of the ring with like a fucking dead crow stuffed in his mouth. Like I need more horror in this shit, right? And I think that Alexa is doing a fantastic job. Randy's awesome for like playing along with all this because he's sort of always been like just a more straightforward like character, right? I fucking lost my mind when the Fiend came back and when he came through the fucking floor and we saw his face all melted. The one like milky blue contact is sick. The only thing I'm like about is like the bodice, like the whatever he has on. Like I'm not.
What about the bubbly burnt hands too?
All the creature effects on his face and his hand. I love that he's sort of taped together. Like there was like almost like duct tape on him and shit. Like I think that's cool.
Right.
But the storytelling. This is great. We don't ever get this. We don't ever get a story that like pays off, let alone one that like builds to something. I would have just liked more of it to be involved with the shows leading up to this point because you really had to like watch and find the shit and then like to like keep along with it. So I think it should have been front and center more. But yeah,
in terms of the body, you're saying like I don't know why they didn't just make it like a burnt version of what he wears.
Right.
You know what I mean? I guess because it's a tank top is what he wears. But why not have the jacket? You could have had like the burnt jacket look or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
But also, it's not a big deal if he like
it's such a
put
small
on
thing.
Clothes, right? Like I was thinking about it, like if he's burnt up, he can still put on clothes. I guess
Let him put on clothes.
It didn't look amazing. Like
it was just a little okay.
I didn't care though. I didn't care, but
was...
I see why people are upset by it. But like, man, I was reading on Swamp Facebook, like people really ripping into it, and you're like, yo, you have to. There has to be a line where you have fun. Like there has to be a line.
No, they can't have fun because it's not exactly precisely as the way they think it should be. So it's bad.
Yeah, it's like, do you guys understand how hard what WWE does? Even being like this $1 billion company, like the physical mental errors is the whole thing. Like mentally, their head was in the right place here. Right. Physically, the costume didn't come together in time perfectly. Right. Mm-hmm. Let that go. That's the Sparklers in AEW situation.
Plus, you're
mentally,
dealing with
they booked an awesome match. Physically, the Sparklers didn't off on live television. You know what I'm saying? That's
barely though. Like I think that's barely the level of like the Sparklers not going off. Like it's just a slight a slight stylistically. It's a choice
Right.
stylistically that is slightly off from what I would prefer,
Right.
and that's all it is.
And look at the sparkler's not going off. The beauty of it is you have another show to fucking work it and change it, to make it make sense, and that's what
Right.
they did on AEW. I would expect that Bray seems to be the creative director in all this, and he has the freedom to do the things that he wants. So this isn't the last step for the Fiend. I think this is gonna keep evolving. Does it along the timeline of Bray? Like, I don't think he's ever gonna go back to original Bray, right? I think this is just gonna keep evolving into something else, and we're gonna keep getting this over time. Like, I think this is a huge universe now that it's like a branch off of WWE, and I don't know what's next, but I'm excited about it for fucking Mania. Are we gonna get a cinematic match?
I mean,
Or do we get because they got the live crowd? They do something.
I don't think they're planning a cinematic match. I think they're gonna do something closer to what they did with Abu Dhabi, like with the Rollins. You know what I mean? I don't think
The other thing I noticed too is that Alexa Cup wrestles in a purple light and Fiend wrestles in a red light. So I like how they have their own style thing. I never realized that. I was like, oh shit, I just realized Alexa's been in this purple light when she fights as this character. That's fucking pretty awesome, And then the Fiend shows up and it's like a combination of the two of them.
Yeah, it was cool. It was definitely not a perfect situation. I also see, look, all right, here's my big gripe with it. I think it's fun. I'm excited for the match. I'm the guy who liked the House of Horrors match. I like the projections, I also think that in the next couple weeks we'll see Fiend cut promos likely. That'll be pretty cool like that. I guess we don't see Sweater Bray for at least a while, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know what that means, but the small things with WWE that I'll never get is like I'll never get how you had like a couple months without Fiend. You kind of had Alexa sitting in the middle of it's not a pentagram, right?
right? It's just a star in a circle.
And they couldn't drop lines that were like, all I need, what if the story was, the only thing I need to bring back Bray is a drop of Randy's blood, right?
Right.
And
Some
then
Sabrina the Teenage Witch type shit.
like that. So you have one little thing that is like one motivation, right? One goal. And then in that match, Alexa just had to get his hand, prick it, get the blood, and then we see Fiend, and you're like, you'd follow it a little more.
Right.
I'm not saying that that's a spitball idea, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But it always feels like you're watching the same thing over and over, as opposed to a story progressing. You know?
Well, that's what I mean by
And it's just I'm just saying that's the stuff I don't get because they have a writer's room.
Right.
So I don't know why not have things be a little fine tuned. You know?
I mean, that's the thing is I don't disagree with you, and that's what I meant with. I wish that it was more prominently featured more often in the shows week to week because it's tough to do that when you give Alexa 2 minutes to do something and then we don't see it again for the rest of the fucking episode.
Right.
Instead of 5 or 10 minutes every episode constantly hammering that her mission to get the Fiend to come back. If you gave it more space, they would have been able to tell that story better.
And I think the more you actually engage people over, if you go for frosting over cake, or you go for spectacle over story, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then people are really analyzing the spectacle. So when you have it where, if you have it where it's like, oh, let's see, the focus of Fiend coming back was his costume. Right?
What's he going to look like? Yeah.
As opposed to Fiend's back because these course of events happened, right? You know what I mean? Then you wouldn't care as much. You'd be like, that felt so satisfying. That's how I felt about the AEW Sparkler thing, where I was like, the Eddie Kingston moment, was so killer that I didn't give a shit. I guess,
I would even take it a step further, and I would have Alexa start to retcon things that happened to other superstars in their matches that start to fulfill this prophecy of him coming back. Like Ali getting attacked by Retribution, right?
Yeah.
She has like a tarot card. She's like, "Ooh, the foolish king." He blah blah blah. And then they show a clip of like him getting, and then
That'd
it's
be
like,
sick.
"Oh, this other
That'd be
match,"
so sick.
and then it's like, "Oh, all this stuff happening in this universe. Now the stars are aligned, and he's back."
That would
That's
be so.
what I would
that
do.
would be so sick. They'll never do. That's so run. They're way too run and gun for that. But
Right.
that being said, I just love Bray. I think he's so cool and fun.
I think we could be getting
Yeah.
something even more like along the lines of they might be going, since it's Randy again, now you have to start thinking about the history of where this is going to lead to. Maybe we go back to the Sister Abigail stuff, the resurrecting of another being or some kind of shit. I think I'm telling you, I think we're just scratching the surface with this new era now. And like we have two more Raws to kind of build this. And I think that's the perfect amount of time before Mania for them to do this stuff, you know?
Yeah. I think like, I mean, fuck it, dude. They need to like put. I'm geeking out over this now. They need to put do some like True Detective Time as a Flat Circle shit, where like the fire that he used to burn the Fiend was the fire in the house that he burnt down, and it's all happening at the same time, and the Fiend was in the
gasoline.
grave, and the gas. They just come on,
Right?
It's all there.
How funny was it when Randy smelled the gasoline? He was like, ooh, 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 that's real. And then he was like,
Yeah.
Ooh, that's good shit. High octane.
Yeah. Now,
smell some of this.
I guess it's just that when it comes down to it, the lead up of Orton Bray for Mania 33 was again another frosting no cake situation. Like
Yeah.
it was like cool. He like burnt down a whole fucking house. You know what I mean? Like it was like he like in front of
In
the
jeans.
house and we still don't know like what Sister Abigail was. We still
Well-
like it made no sense. You know?
Well, I think, right? Wouldn't we think like they're still telling this story, right? I mean, we're here again. We're right back where they were, right? So now it's like he's
I
been
guess,
always
sure. I'll give you that.
I mean, I think this has been Bray's story, the Fiend story this whole entire time. It's like get revenge for Randy for burning down the shit, right? They've heard him with the fire, they've heard him with his own weapon, and now we've seen the burnt down fucking house picture in the Firefly Funhouse. I think it's always just been about getting back to Randy,
Didn't the
luring
Fiend,
him out.
or didn't Bray Wyatt like telegraph the Fiend like over the course of like a year with like cryptic tweets and shit? Isn't that something that happened?
Oh yeah, way
Right.
back, like
Yeah.
way
he
even
was working
further
on it
back.
for He was
Forever.
working on it for a very long time. He was pitching it
Yeah.
This is the stuff I've heard. Is like it was all his thing that he was like, let me try this thing.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like the insurance policy of it all is that okay? You just have to believe that this has been the story and it's not done, and then we're gonna know when it's gonna conclude. It's gonna come down to the end, the final chapter, and he'll either probably leave wrestling or go somewhere else. And we get a new version of him.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see where it goes. I mean, regardless, it's a good time.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Let's talk about like maybe the worst thing in wrestling history, which is the Shane McMahon Braun Strowman feud.
Oh my god, dude.
I mean, is there? I can't think of anything worse. To be honest, I'm having a hard time. Like I in recent history, like you think it's things far back, but I mean, they're really. This was Shane McMahon singing like a Braun Strowman is stupid song with Elias. I mean, it iced Elias to such a high. I mean, it made Elias look like a fucking idiot. This is a guy who was as hot as can be at one point. I don't know what to say. It gets worse and worse every second. It's like I feel embarrassed for Shane watching this. I feel bad for Strowman, who is in the fucking zone. Do you see what this guy looks like?
Yeah.
I mean,
They
I'm
gave
not
him
even-
choo-choo music when he runs around the train now. Oh my fucking god, dude. They gave him fucking choo-choo music. Now when he's running around the ring, they fucking play a sound.
All aboard, chugga chugga chugga.
I didn't even notice that. I didn't
What?
notice that.
Oh
I
my
didn't see
god.
that.
Strowman the pain engine.
They can't give this guy a fucking good match at Mania? I mean, they gave him a 9-year-old son of a referee, son of a bar mitzvah photographer. I mean, like, I'm like just blown away.
That's a great
dude.
gimmick, though. Son of a motor. It's my gimmick.
First of all, what a line. Put it on a t-shirt immediately. But like, you know, it's just like what is it, man? Like, listen, I just was watching some old clips, and like when Shane's around and the McMahons are doing the full McMahon, if you're gonna do the McMahon things, go all out. Instead, what I'm getting is, does Shane have a problem? Like, was this him saying, I want a match at Mania? Like, just tell that. Say that.
Right.
Show that. Just be like, Shane is a spoiled rich brat. He came to Vince. He wants a match. And he said, well, you're going to have to find a way. And he pissed off the biggest dude in the room and got him. See, Dad? I got a match. I told you I could do it. I can't, man.
It's inexcusably terrible. And again, it's another frosting cake moment, right? So they haven't done anything. What?
Did you see Shane's shirt?
The Stupid Express?
Stupid.
Yeah.
Oh.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
If you saw someone wearing a Stupid Express shirt, would you think they are a member of the Stupid Express?
The conductor.
Or would you think that that's about somebody else?
The motherfucker's driving the Stupid Express.
Honestly, I've said it before. I have a hard time making fun of Shane because
Right,
I
'cause there
think
could be
I think
something
something's
there.
wrong with him.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know
that's
what I
what
mean?
I'm saying. It's like that's what they're giving off. Like he has a
So I'm
drug
talking
problem.
about writing. And so what I'm saying is that we talk about frosting cake, right? This match, there's no substance to it at all. It's the most one note. It's less than one note, you know?
Yeah.
And the only thing to save this is Shane falling off something high, which we don't need anymore. Like, it's uncomfortable. It's affecting his mental state, maybe. I mean, I don't know why I laughed. I apologize for that. I'm actually not laughing.
Well, you're laughing at sort of the absurdity of
the absurdity, because it's like his dad is controlling this, and his dad doesn't realize, hey, my son's getting older. Why don't I just write him a better story so that people don't care about him falling 1,000 feet? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Who knows? Vince is 75 years old. He squatted 1,000 pounds this week. I mean, he is the man also. So I don't know what else to say. You know?
Who's he working out with? Hurricane Helms? Him and Helmsy are squatting 1,000 pounds, like over here, like no big deal.
I love it. Oh! And they're in that fucking Titan Towers gym that has like the neon, you know, like, oh God. I mean, I've never even seen that squat machine, like, you know, that kind of machine. I don't even go to gyms that have that, you know. It's so unnecessary for him at that age. He should be just walking on the treadmill. You know what I mean? But anyway, look.
Get a nice source of collagen. Do some walking on the treadmill.
It's just crazy, man. It's just wild.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're going to get out of here. Last thing I'm going to say is just a New Japan thing. Obviously, I don't keep up on New Japan. I wish I could. It's just whatever. But I follow their Instagram and stuff, and that's why I'll look into stuff. But so Will Ospreay won the New Japan, the Junior, Super Junior? I don't know what the fuck, New Japan Cup. He won that ridiculous looking trophy. Did you see it? It's like a crown
It's like
wedding
a wing.
cake.
It's like a wing, right?
No,
like a foot
not that
with a-
one. The wing one he's had. This is a crown wedding cake. Like it's like everything they do is right out of Final Fantasy, you know?
Yes. Yeah.
So it's like, I can't go in frame, but it's huge. Whatever. You could look at the video. But so he what's going on here? So he okay. So Ospreay cut a promo after, and apparently he gave his finishing move to the wrestler he was going against. Then he gave his finishing move to his girlfriend, right? What's her name? B. Priestley?
Yeah.
And then cut a promo just being like, just to let you know, the only thing, my number one priority is the title, even over my girlfriend, you know? And it was like, but like, you're like, all right, on one hand, you're like, all right, it's kind of fucked up, but you're like, it does prove a point, which is, you know, it's wrestling, so he's giving a wrestling move to another wrestler. Right. So, you know, let's not look at it too far, I don't think. But then also, it's Ospreay's finally, he's calling out Kota Ibushi. Mm-hmm. Like, this guy's ready to be like the top guy over there already, right? Like, I'm surprised it's taking so long.
They love him over
Isn't
he
there.
Like
like 230 pounds now?
He's gotten beefed up. the thing I love in New Japan, he's like, yo, I came in. He's like, just like Kota Ibushi, I came in as a junior, and like now I'm a heavyweight. They deem themselves heavyweights. It's one of the things I love in New Japan. They're like, now I'm a heavyweight, and they literally put on muscle to move up. You know, they try to beef up to be a believable heavyweight. You know, New Japan. The thing about New Japan is that there's so much. There's so many layers of what they do, so many facets of it that I wish would just plug into WWE. You know?
Well, yeah. Look at AEW. I mean, it's plugged into AEW.
I know.
mean,
that's
it
why I
literally
like
is.
AEW.
It is plugged into AEW, literally. Like, I mean, and that's why we love AEW, because it takes that little bit. It doesn't take the whole format. It like sprinkles it on top. You know, like it's perfect.
Here's my other thought. Random thing. Have we ever seen an AJ Rollins feud? I don't remember one.
I feel like we have.
It had to have happened. I'm sure we've seen matches, but have we seen an AJ Rollins feud?
No, I don't think so. No, because they never really crossed paths. Because Rollins was never really the champion when maybe AJ was the champion at the same time.
That
you
needs
know,
to be
Rollins versus Styles and Money in the Bank.
right? That's right.
2019.
I was
Universal
there.
title match.
I was in the arena for that match.
Universal
title.
match? For the red
I'm
title?
looking at it on WWE.com. Universal title match, WWE Money in the Bank
Oh,
2019.
and Seth was the champ.
Rollins
Seth
versus
was the champ. He
Styles.
just beat Brock.
Yeah. But we haven't got a proper feud between
right.
those two.
I was
which
there.
need. Anyway, all right, let's get out of here. We talked about a lot. Look, we're gearing up. Sasha, I like when she slapped Bianca in the face. We didn't mention that. That was fun. Clearly, Bianca was like, just fully hit me, which I always dig.
Yeah. Dropped it to a knee.
Yeah,
Bianca
yeah,
not
really
look like the
fucking hard.
EST.
And we're starting to see what night 1 and night 2 looks like. It's looking fun. I mean, it's gonna be really fun to watch Mania. I'm excited for it. I hope they get this stuff together. I mean, the Shane Braun thing. I don't know what to say. It's some things happen in wrestling that are just so embarrassing. You hope your significant other doesn't walk by the screen when it's happening. You know
That's
what I mean?
match for the Shane. That's a match for the Shane fans. Like only. It's like if you're a Shane Mark, I mean, you're gonna be going crazy.
Anyway, what's going on AEW NXT tonight, Tullo? And then we'll we're gonna talk about it on the bonus episode. But what are we looking forward to? Anything?
Well, I'm trying to think. AEW, they're all on the builds. Oh, we have John Silver versus Darby Allin. I hope John Silver wins the TNT title. That's a match tonight that I'm really looking forward to. Okay. The women's division is starting to heat up. I think Ty Conti versus Nyla Rose. A bunch of good tag team stuff. There's some trios. Pentagon and Phoenix are with Kid Laredo versus the Bucks and our favorite Brandon Cutler. But I'm excited. But Kenny was just on Impact and if you haven't watched it, make sure you watch that. And if you haven't checked out also AW Dark Elevation, Dan, give it a go. It's actually a really good show. They do a lot of
involved.
Paul White and Tony Schiavone are incredible announcers. Really fun. They drop so much character work into that show that it's a really nice show to put on when you get a chance.
I'll check it out. All right. Cool. Well, we're going to get out of here. Everybody remember, I'm going to be updating you. I'm here in Hawaii. Wow, that was a good escape for talk about wrestling with you guys. I appreciate that.
No problem, man.
I'm waiting to see if I got a tournament match coming up. I'm going to be training. I'm sharpening up frankly, I mean, shouldn't even say this, but because I don't want any op research on this, but I'm sharpening my stunner lately. Watching tapes. I'm working with a couple guys. I'll keep them. I said I wouldn't mention who they are here. It's pretty much deadly at this point. So, I'm getting ready for some more tournament wins here in Waikiki. I'll be in the LaCroix Hotel hiding out. Until I go. But stay tuned to the Facebook group and the Twitter at COW Podcast, Twitter and Instagram. But the Twitter breaks news first, by the way, just so you know that. And then the Facebook group, keep your eyes peeled leading up to WrestleMania for updates on the King of Iron Fist tournament. And I'm gonna take it fucking home and bring the title back, and I'll be flying back. I'll be flying back with the title.
You better.
Mania weekend, so it's gonna be sick. Everybody, you can support this podcast. You want our new sticker? It's dope. Check it out. It's in the Facebook group. People post pictures on my Instagram at Dan Black Attack. You can see pictures of it. Angela Zhang made it. Amazing art. They're limited time. I have a very limited amount of them left. So just sign up for Patreon right now, and that's all you got to do. Any level, $2 level, whatever. Patreon.com/comedians of wrestling. All right, hey everybody. One last thing. I'll start announcing the Calzoom Thunderdome schedule for Mania. I'll probably next week have that for what we're going to be doing. So that's, same deal. At the $10 level of Patreon, we'll be watching a lot of wrestling. That it's going to be crazy.
I need to talk to you about that. So
yeah.
Yep.
And so do that. Patreon.com/comedians wrestling. Hey, everybody, keep watching wrestling. Kisses. Cheers up.
Cheers up.